boy, the beat reason. Go.
Yeah, good afternoon everyone at home. I am ADEYEMI ASABA from Lagos State Polytechnic, Ikorodu, Lagos, Nigeria. And we are here this afternoon to commemorate the 2017 Town Hall meeting organized by the HND1 SPTS regular students. Yeah, what are they doing today? It's something very unique, very special. It's a public relation course and the project is all about Town Hall, bringing young people together, bringing world-class students together, and intellectuals too to talk about what is happening today. And what are they focusing on today? They're focusing on the 3 T's. I call it 3 T's. Yes, it is the 3 T's. Tolerance, terrorism, and tourism.
It's a town hall meeting, and it's a gathering of people from different walks of life, different fields of study, different orientation, different opinions of life. And so this town hall meeting is going to be dissecting the 3 topics today: tourism, tolerance, and terrorism. And I, as one of the speakers, will be talking about tolerance. We human beings need to understand that there's a difference between opinion and fact, and because there's a difference between opinion and fact, we should learn to tolerate each other. We should not treat the things that are supposed to be opinion as fact and react accordingly. So the understanding of this will help us live a peaceable life. We guarantee peace in our society, guarantee peace in our relationship with each other, guarantee peace in our relationship with even the outsiders. So whatever we find out, we can tolerate ourselves.
Right, so
about non-tolerance, characteristics of tolerance, the United Nations Year for Tolerance, the virtue of tolerance, and everyday tolerance. Okay, you are entitled to your own opinion, Senator Daniel Patrick Moynihan declared, but you are not entitled to your own facts. This succinctly and rather bluntly captures the extent and essential boundaries of tolerance. There are a big difference between opinion and facts. The problem with us today is the fact that we treat facts as opinion. We treat opinions as facts and facts as opinion. If we can understand that human beings are entitled to their opinions, because of the fact that we were raised differently, we were raised from different backgrounds, and everyone is entitled to their own opinion. It is judged by how they've grown, the education they have acquired over the years, the people they have mingled with over the time. And if we have everyone coming up with different opinions, you can understand that it is as a result of what they have understood over the years. And so, everyone is entitled to their opinion, and we should learn to understand opinion, or understand people's opinion, accept it, and tolerate it, and not treat opinion as fact. If we understand these 2 things, we will be able to tolerate one another. There are 2 types of error. Each a form of intolerance become apparent. 1, treating as fact what is indeed opinion. Sustaining and propagating these errors are the tools of tyrants and ideologues, bigots and racists. Discerning the distinction between fact and opinion, the essential skill of tolerance, can be difficult. It requires us to apply a robust theory of knowledge. Intolerance is the wrongful arrogation of power to force conformity. Intolerance is the error in thinking that perpetuates hate. Can we go to the next slide, please? Behavior is so wrong it cannot be tolerated. Okay? I want to understand that for the fact that we want to tolerate one another doesn't mean we tolerate every behavior that comes our way. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. Some behavior is so wrong it cannot be tolerated. The categorical moral imperatives not to kill, to steal, or maliciously deceive others are examples of behavior that is outside the bounds of tolerance. A tolerant person is non-tolerant of such reprehensible behavior. Okay, so we have the cadets, the United Nations Air Force Academy. They honor this particular code that states that we will not lie, we will not steal, or cheat. Among us, anyone who does this, amongst us, anyone who does, nor tolerate among us anyone who does. This clear statement of non-tolerance establishes the boundaries of what is tolerable to a cadet. So it is important for the fact that we have to tolerate one another. We have to understand that you are entitled to your opinion, you are entitled to your behavior. Does not mean that every action that is being, displayed in our society are tolerable. There are boundaries. So tolerance has limits. Reality is beyond opinion. Tolerance is relevant to opinion, not facts, like I said earlier. The test of truth is in its correspondence with reality. And when opinion meets face-to-face with reality, reality must ultimately prevail. Furthermore, erosion of the categorical moral imperatives is intolerable. Tolerating cruelty and brutality is abdication, not respect. Okay? Between reality, there is face-to-face truth. When opinions meet face-to-face with reality, reality must ultimately prevail. Okay, this is it. You have your opinion, I have my opinion. At the end of the day, what is the truth? What can we accept as the acceptable behavior that we should tolerate? So we have opinion, we have truth. So when opinion meets face to face with reality, reality ultimately prevails. Tolerance allows for spirited and principled debate. Your well-founded beliefs deserve to be heard. It deserves to be advocated and vigorously debated. Expect them to be dissected. Expect your opinion to be analyzed. Expect your opinion to be questioned and criticized. Expect that long before any consensus emerges, we can talk about it. We can talk about your opinion. If you think this particular way, if you think that, yes, this is what I think about this particular thing, Laspotech is the best school. No, Laspotech is not the best school. It is allowed. It is your opinion. I am entitled to my own opinion. But I shouldn't fight you because I don't agree with you. I shouldn't fight you because you think that Laspotech is not the best school. I shouldn't fight you. But at the end of the day, like I said, when opinion faces, when there's face-to-face opinion, reality prevails. So you should expect that when you have your opinion, it should be analyzed, it should be dissected, it should be advocated, and vigorously debated. Identifying, examining, and resolving inconsistencies. Identifying, examining, and resolving inconsistencies increase our understanding. Truth continues to be forged from critical consideration of dissent and new points of view. The ethics help us move forward. The demagogues do not. In addition, confronting destructive behavior is an act of compassion and not courage. It's an act of compassion and courage, not brutality. Number 4, tolerance is essential and distinct from intolerance. Certain reprehensible behavior, including breaches of categorical moral imperatives, cannot be tolerated. Like we know, there are behaviors that are not acceptable in the society. Because we know that you are entitled to your opinion, you're entitled to your behavior, doesn't mean we should allow you steal and get away with it. Doesn't mean we should allow you kill somebody and get away with it. There are boundaries, like we said. So, but there are distincts between tolerance and intolerance. The straightforward refusal to tolerate a wrong expresses the limits of tolerance. Tolerant people are non-tolerant towards brutality. Paradoxically, intolerance is not to be tolerated. Tolerance finds a balance between indulgence, anything goes, and narrow-mindedness. Tolerance is the thoughtful virtue, resolutely between intolerance and non-tolerance. I'm going to be moving faster now. I want us to quickly go to number 6. Okay, virtues of tolerance. Tolerance is a prerequisite to exercising the liberties of speech, free speech, and freedom, religion. Tolerance preserves the dignity of each person as it accommodates and explores a rich diversity in ideas, cultures, and beliefs through civil discourse and dialogue. Tolerance promotes learning because, as John Stuart Mill tells us, received opinion may be wrong and heretic, and the heretic right. Robin Barrow cautions us that it is partly because there are limits to what we can be sure about in the moral domain that tolerance and freedom are virtues. To this end, I'm going to be saying that adopting an open mind represents a commitment to the pursuit of knowledge through dialogue. Thank you.
Yes, I'm Mr. AKINRINADE AFEEZ. I'm the CEO, Chief Executive Officer, Vivid Consult. For this, today's program is all about, I think they will be speaking about tourism, tolerance, and terrorism. And if you look at it, if you look at this team very well, this has been a challenging issue in our community as in Nigeria as a whole. Okay. It's been a problem we are unable to tackle for a while. But this program today it will enlighten our students, it will enlighten the general public and even Nigerian at large.
Imagine me one guy say compose music. Tombele, 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 tombele. Don't no vex me o. Girls wey say you toast in the morning, she no gree. Meet her for club. Tombele, 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 tombele. That one na dance. Now don't vex me. This idiot, Olamide, ẹ̀yin ọmọ ti káwọ́dí, má lọ lálá kízo, oya jóbi mọ́mì, oya jóbi dádì, oya kárí Yorùbá.
Hi, Mr. Balogun, good afternoon.
Thank you very much, Mr. ASABA. You're looking good.
Thank you, and you too. So I understand that you're one of the speakers at this 2017 town meeting.
Yes, right.
All right. So what will you be speaking on today?
I'm a backup speaker to Ms. Ferguson on tolerance, and I will be extensively talking on the importance of tolerance in today's program.
Okay. So what do you think are the importance of tolerance?
The importance of tolerance, we need to learn to live with each other, despite our views are different points, despite our experiences in life. We need to stay out together. I'll basically be talking on importance and giving examples from all walks of life.
Okay, great. Yeah, you said taking examples from all walks of life. Are you saying that tolerance is a bedrock for peace?
Yes, for peace, harmony in all the world.
Thank you very much. Thank you to the chief speaker on tolerance, and I want to appreciate all my lecturers in the house and my colleagues. Thank you very much for your time. I will be speaking more on the word tolerance. Firstly, I would like to give this quote. Men build too many walls, but not enough bridges. What does this mean? This means if you want tolerance, we don't need just to look at each other from afar and talk. But when there's bridges, the bridges here means a connection, the link between two or more people. One, I would like to give the definition meaning from the dictionary Oxford. It says, it is written down, willingness to allow people to do, say, or believe what they want without criticizing them. It's a quality which enables people to tolerate the presence of others. No people in this world are exactly alike. All people, even identical trees, have their own experience and their own viewpoint. Do you have to agree with people to respect the right to have opinion? No. But people with different views and opinion can respect each other. You do not have to like the same food, the same music, the same clothes. You don't have to dress the same way or attend the same church or practice the same religion to tolerate person. People, no cause and behavior that disrespect and hurt people should be tolerated. Respect is about accepting people for who they are, for their best self. Tolerance also means treating people the way you like to be treated. Even in the Bible, Cain cannot tolerate his brother Abel. He cannot tolerate the presence of Abel with God. Then he killed his brother. Even the great Catholic queen, Mary of Britain, burned the Protestant because she could not tolerate the plurality. Now what are we talking about? The usefulness of tolerance in this. Sorry. Tolerance is really a very high useful quality. It is one of the basic principles of good manners. We can do justice if we tolerate views from other people. If we are tolerant, we can make the due assessment of views of others. Tolerance as a quality is indispensable in democratic countries. Tolerance is the first condition of the exercise of all views. We must be tolerant of the views, however better it may be. Every student, every citizen, and every individual should culture or cultivate the habit of tolerance. There are also codes, religion code about tolerance. Religion is a pair of shoes. Find one that fits you, but do not make me wear yours. Another code. Law cannot be secure freedom of expression. In order that every man represent his view without penalty, there must be spirit of tolerance in the entire population. In conclusion, there is no doubt in that tolerance is the most necessary quality of everyday life. If we culture tolerance, we will be free from all pains and envies of life. Then our soul will grow in peace and happiness. Children from childhood should develop the habit of tolerance. The elders should guide them in this respect. The only remedy to all troubles and the practice of tolerance, intolerance has done a lot of harm to mankind. In order to get rid of all kinds of discord and disharmony, tolerance can play a supreme role in our social and national life. Thank you very much.
My name is ADEYANJU. I'll be speaking on the hospitality sector of tourism in Nigeria. This sector has to do with tourist service industries, which are restaurants, hotels, transportation. Hospitality units such as the restaurant, hotel, or amusement park consist of multiple groups, which include facilities maintenance, management, marketing and human resources, direct operations. Direct operations include the servers, housekeepers, porters, kitchen workers, bartenders, and so on. Of the three things which people need when they travel, the most important one is accommodation, also known as shelter, while the other two are food and transportation. There are various accommodations under tourism, but to mention a few, we have hotels, motels, flotels, inns, and resorts, and so many more. I would like to talk extensively on the hotel aspect of tourism. A hotel is an establishment that provides paid lodging on a short-term basis. There are three main types of hotel and accommodation services. One, lodging. When people travel from place to place, they need shelter, which will keep them safe from the atrocities of nature. Two, suites. Apart from general lodges to stay, hotel sectors offer luxury suites for formal sorts of staying, although they are very much expensive compared to the regular room services. Three, resorts. This third type of accommodation is popular among travelers and tourists. Resorts brings you close to nature and they give you a necessary break from your normal routine. Now, hotels are classified into various categories, from 1-star hotel up to 7-star hotel. Aside from the regular hotel we have in Nigeria, the 5-star hotels are the common one among the elites, and they are also known as the luxury hotel. They offer high quality amenities, full service accommodation, full service restaurants, and the highest level of personalized and professional security. Examples of these 5-star hotels are Intercontinental Hotel, Conrad Hotels, Protea Hotel, Transcorp Hilton Hotels, Eco Hotel and Suites, and several others. Apart from the luxury hotels, we have the boutique and lifestyle hotel, full service hotel or selected service hotel. Another crucial thing under the hospitality sector is the food and beverage sector. This is also known as culinary tourism. People like to eat food which is well represented. So a lot of focus should be made in food presentation to improve hospitality experience. Constraints and hindrances to the growth of tourism in Nigeria. 1. Inconsistent government policies. Different governments make different policies on tourism. Some favors the tourist agency while others do not. Moreover, these policies are not constant, thereby it makes it difficult for continuity in tourism. Insecurity. We have terrorism, insurgents, militancy, herdsmen menace, and kidnapping amongst others. Talking of terrorism, the Boko Haram, they are terrorizing the northern part of Nigeria, thereby making, for example, we have this Yankari Game Reserve in Bauchi, but people are scared to go there due to security purposes. Poor infrastructure, roads, airports, and airlines. Nigeria have no airline, no national airline, poor electricity. Most business run more on self-generated power, thereby giving them rise on their expenditure. It makes them increase the cost of payments in all these hotel services. Thank you.
My name is ADEYANJU, a student of HND1 Mass Comm. I'm one of the speakers for today's event, and I actually spoke on tourism. Speaking today is a very big thing for me because I have stage fright and I've been thinking of ways to manage it. But hopefully with what I did today, I think I can do more. Though it took me a whole lot of time to prepare the speech and all that, to solve through so many things online, to get the facts and figures together in order for me to be able to have something good to say today. But after the end of the whole presentation, I felt a huge surge of relief. I felt relieved that I was able to deliver what I actually practiced. I spoke on tourism. Tourism has to do with travelings and tours from one place to another. The beauty of tourism is when you're able to go to different places to see their place of interest, to know the various kind of amenities they have there, like the Yankari Game Reserve, going out to the hospitality sector whereby we have Transcorp Hilton Hotels, Protea Hotels and various. We also have the culinary tourism, which deals with the food and beverages.
Olú àgbáyé, olú àgbọ́run, olú ìpilẹ̀ṣẹ̀, olú níní lílẹ̀.
what point do you think Nigeria will get to that level where tourism will boost our GDP?
Yes, we cannot get to that level until we are prepared to shift our ideas and all our interests on oil and gas, and invest some more money into tourism.
Okay, now I love what you just said. Now, do we need to abandon oil and gas permanently?
No, we don't need to abandon it, but we should place less emphasis on it and now concentrate in diversifying our resources to other areas.
I am going to talk about tourism from that angle. I will attempt a definition by quoting the World Tourism Organization. They defined tourism more generally as a people traveling to and staying in places outside their usual environment for not more than one consecutive year for leisure, business, and other purposes. It is a theory and practice of touring, the business of attracting, accommodating, and entertaining tourists. Tourism may be international or within the tourist travelers, the traveler's country. We all know the ministry that's responsible for tourism in Nigeria, and that's the Information and Culture Ministry. And the government of the present government, through the ministry, developed a blueprint on how government can invest in the tourism sector to boost growth and turn the long neglected sector. By the way, tourism is a very good avenue of earning foreign exchange. In Nigeria, we have so much dwelt on oil and gas for forex, so much so that we have neglected the gold mine called tourism. There are different types of tourism. People tour to other places because of educational purposes, and that's what we call educational tourism. Others tour for cultural purposes, and that is cultural tourism. Mr. Komu told us once that a lady, Susan Wenger, came to Nigeria, specifically to understudy the Oshun, the way they worship, the Oshun worshippers. And she went native. Why? Because she found things so interesting that she decided to remain back here and continue their life. She died not too long ago. Tourism brings about education, foreign exchange. It brings about cooperation by international citizens. That means people who come all the way from America, Europe to Nigeria find so many things interesting here. We have several tourist attractions. The Yankari Games Reserve is there. The Obudu Cattle Ranch, this Oshobo Grove is a very interesting place to go. And there is also some places of interest. Don't worry, this is what we face, we who are very portable and huggable. This pulpit seems to be too high for me, so I'll be talking from outside it. So there is this no culture. There are some cultural things that you learn from touring. My colleague will be talking about the hospitality aspect of tourism. We are told that tourism brought about 1.7 billion naira, that's about $5.5 million, or about 4.8% contribution to Nigerian GDP in 2016. And by this year, it's expected and projected that it will even come low. Why? Because of the lack of development in that area, lack of interest, and the continual persistence on oil and gas by the government. So we're told that this oil and gas is going to dry very soon. So we have to make efforts to diversify, and one of the very, very important areas to diversify is tourism. You You build hotels, you build infrastructures. People come to look for what you have to offer. And what are these things? The culture, like our people displayed here. People come here, watch how we live our life, the way we relate with ourselves, and they go away with a very good impression or bad impression of us, depending on how we comport ourselves when they come. So tourism is very, very interesting because our people also go out to seek medical attention in places like Europe and America. Our president went on medical tourism for a very long time. We spend so much money. So if the people here, that's the government, had developed our hospitals and equipped them very well, there wouldn't have been any need for any of us to travel out and export foreign exchange in order to seek for medical attention. One of our governors built what he called a world-class hospital here. But when he had a common accident, he had to be flown abroad. So that brings us to the aspect of neglect by government on tourism. That is talking about the constraints we have on developing tourism. The government is apathetic about it. They do not put much fund into it. They do not develop the infrastructures. Our hotels here are areas where people go and they get molested, and generally there is no encouragement about tourism here. But it is an area, if well tapped, brings about a lot of foreign exchange. I'm told that my time is up. My colleague will be talking about the hospitality aspect of tourism. Thank you.
The last comedian talk say HOBs dey get belle na true. No, seriously, jokes apart. Now we dey hear whistleblower, only money. Now I go blow whistle concern those wey get belle. The way I blow the whistle, na so their belle flat reach. I go start from Mr. Sam. The way I blow the whistle, if na lie, judge me. I wan blow a stable whistle now. Consequence. You hear am? Na just small. Mr. Nasser. Na so belle be. Doctor. Na so exact. Your own flat, you get 6 flats. You say you get 6 flats. If you come my class, you come late, stay outside here. But why? Today I beg you say, sir, put me inside one group, you refuse. Na lie, sir, na lie.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you all. I think the culture of coming early to class is won by Laspotech students. Napoli, you are not there.
Hey! Hi, Deborah, how are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you.
Okay, so I understand that you are a student, okay? And also you're an entrepreneur. So what business is it?
I'm into event planning and management, and so far so good. It's been great. It's been really wonderful. You know, when you get to do what you like, what you love doing. I'm this kind of person that I love running errands for people, so I decided to convert that into a business in line with what I love to do.
So you're a professional errand lady?
Yeah, you can say that again.
Okay, so do you do this for free?
I don't do it for free.
Okay.
I do it and I get paid for it.
Okay, alright. So far you've been running your business, and how many people works with you?
So far so good. I have about 20 people working with me.
Awesome, 20 people working with you. So that means you're a big lady.
Of course.
My name is Dan Imafidon Esekadi, and I'm here to discuss about terrorism, Nigeria and the emergence of terrorism, and the study of the causes and the effectiveness and strategies that the federal government used in combating terrorism. Terrorism is a very wide subject, but because of our time constraints, I will have to narrow it down to brief introduction of terrorism, where we'll have a proper definition, and we'll have types of terrorism. We also have causes of terrorism and strategies of combating terrorism. I will be discussing on the introduction and types, while my supporting speaker will later come and discuss about causes of terrorism and strategies of combating terrorism. All right. As an abstract, this presentation would discuss the variables of the emergence of terrorism in Nigeria and the strategies adopted by the federal government in combating it. And we'll also discuss about a little definition of terrorism as we know it to be. Well, terrorism in its simplest definition or in its simplest form refers to violent acts that are intended to create fear and are also perpetrated for a wide ranges of reasons. These reasons may be to achieve political goals. They could also be ideological and, of course, religious goals. Now, we talk about terrorism. Who perpetrates these acts of terrorism? Of course, they are known to be terrorists. And when we hear the word terrorist, we know what they stand for, don't we? Well, in Nigeria, terrorism is fairly new. You would agree with me. It's fairly new. Until the year 2009, we've been having relative peace. But in Nigeria, we are a country whereby we have we've had in the past, even up till now, we've had series of religious violence. And this violence were caused by various reasons. Some of them were ethnic, some of them were religious, some of them were reasons best known to those who caused them back then. But as it turned out, we can't still call religious uprising terrorism, or can we? I don't think so. So, because of this fact, we can't define religious uprising to be terrorism. Now, this gave rise to the advent of Boko Haram. And Boko Haram came about in July 2009. We are all conversant with Boko Haram, and they were located in the northeastern region part of Nigeria. And we have seen that Boko Haram in Nigeria specifically have caused a lot of havoc. They, at a point in time, declared that they now had caliphates in the states of Borno, Yobe, and Adamawa, and that was in May 2013. And also, we also found out that in April 2014, Boko Haram were responsible, or they claimed responsibility for the bombings in Inyanya, in Abuja. So these are part of, this is majorly the terrorist group we have here in Nigeria. So what are the types of terrorism that we have, and how can we combat them? Types of terrorism, like I earlier said, what can cause terrorism? We have civil disorder. What is civil disorder? In the modern age, philosophers and freedom fighters have taught people that there can be civil disobedience. We've had in the past prominent freedom fighters like Mandela in South Africa. They had people who were loyalists. And once they have an idea, or once they have a notion that they want to go with, they tend to give rise to civil disorder. They tend to have, they tend to lay claim to what they want. They tend to have negotiations with the government that they want this, they want that. And this might also call or give rise to terrorism. We also have state terrorism. We also have religious terrorism, which is very, very common, especially in the Middle East. We all know the advent of ISIS, that's the Islamic State, in the Middle East, in Iraq, in Iran. These are also giving ideas to other parts of the world. We also have migrants traveling from various parts of the world down to these countries to become Islamic members of Islamic State, that's ISIS. I'll be rounding up here because my assistant speaker will be discussing on the causes of terrorism and how to combat terrorism. Thank you very much.
the way you dancing, come on, shaking, the way you moving, I be watching.
My name is Joshua. I'm the financial secretary to the event going on. Today's event has been so wonderful in its magnanimous way. So far, we've discussed on the theme terrorism, tolerance, and tourism. Of course, we know in every institution there is always a form of terrorism, and of course we know that if there is no tourism, there is no tolerance, there would always be a terrorism in the school. So,
good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is BABATUNDE YUSUF. I'll be supporting speaker on terrorism, causes of terrorism. Militarily, we do not believe that ethnics or religion is one of the causes of terrorism, because some time ago, some suspects, Boko Haram suspects were arrested, and we found out that Igbos are among them. They are not mainly Hausas. Chadians are among them. Igbos are among them. People that are making IED, which is improvised explosive device. The Igbos, the Hausas are among them too. Chadians are among them. Cameroonians too are among them. So we do not believe that it is religion or ethnics that is one of the causes of especially Boko Haram in Nigeria. Also, they believe that violence can justify the end too is one of the causes of terrorism. We believe like IPOB, the military just condemned that the military condemned their activities and tagged them as terrorists, which everybody knows that they are terrorists. Also, illiteracy can be one of the causes of terrorism, because people that are not educated, they don't have high level of thinking that life is sweet. Because you cannot compare the activities of IPOB, militants, and Boko Haram. Boko Haram, if you kill them, you will see dollars in their pocket and drugs. That is telling us that they are usually on drugs. They are not in their right senses to die. If you kill one of them, they will not be sad. But once they kill one soldier, they will be happy. If you kill 5,000 of them, they will still be happy that they killed one soldier. So I'm saying this to tell you that they are always on drugs. Their level of thinking is very low. That's education. Impact of terrorism. Nigeria as a case study. It makes the government to spend more money on security. It is very bad and poor that if not for the advent of Boko Haram insurgency, Nigeria wouldn't have acquired some weapons, especially in the army. I don't want to be quoted. Also, political impact. It makes politics have another meaning, that it is very hard to know the kind of politics we run in Nigeria. Part of the solutions of terrorism is identifying and tackling the sources and finances of terrorists. Also, tightening the securities of borders, our borders. Also, educating the people that are most of the illiterates. By educating them, this can also eradicate or curb insurgency or terrorism. Also, this will be under education, to orientation, to orient everybody, most especially in the Northeast, that most of them are not educated, to educate them and having the belief that we should be cultural, religious, and ethnical tolerant, just as the former speaker said.
Yes, I'm talking about goodwill. Because of my short time, I'd just like to make a definition out of numerous definitions for what goodwill is all about. And one of the definitions is that goodwill is the established reputation of a business regarded as a quantifiable asset and calculated as part of its value when it is sold. I will repeat that definition. Goodwill is the established reputation of a business regarded as a quantifiable asset and calculated as part of its value when sold. In this, we'll pick just 3 things to itemize. The first one is that established reputation. When you talk about goodwill, if you see our wonderful lecturers, if they don't have a PR profile in them, they can't be where they are today. All right, they have goodwill as a character in them.
I need somebody to help me with this. I want them to continue to wave the hand. When you wave the hand like that, continue. All right, I want to start rolling it now. Try rolling this. Rolling it. Rolling. All right, when I say jam, you jam. Okay, keep rolling. It's not boiling. Let it boil. Okay, jam it. That's for you. Now we go further. Terrorism can only be controlled by government, or youths can be helped by government if we understand what the life stream of life is. Let's get ourselves straight. Every school is comprised of several homes, several families. In your home, what are you teaching your child? After the school comes the community, then the community, the state, the country, the world at large. What are we doing in our homes? We cannot leave it to government. There's no way we can leave it to government. We have to do it from home. When you control it from home, if that boy is not bad, he will not have a bad friend. That boy is not bad, this boy is not bad, there won't be a bad friend. Then there won't be a bad gang. Gang is not of one. Gang is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on and so forth. So we should not build a wrong home to avoid instituting a gang. And when there's a gang up, poverty leads to it, I understand. If even in this era of change, poverty, recession and the rest, there are homes that are still living above board.
I want to ask, how do we get private sectors to be more involved to bring this tourism sector relevant? How do we get private sectors involved in it?
Before you can have any vibrant business environment, there are some things that has to be in place. Now, the situation we have in this country today, we have a major problem. Number one, security. Anybody that wants to come to your country, is it safe? Their families, are they safe? Number two, infrastructure. One of the bane of development in Nigeria. Now, I want to go to Ikorodu. The roads are bad. They are not safe. That is a major problem. If I build an hotel somewhere, electricity, power, major problem.
Is it a wrong idea if you avoid someone you cannot tolerate?
He said, is it normal or is it wrong to avoid the person you cannot tolerate? No, it's not wrong. But let me put this scenario. We have a lot of couples separating majorly because of, is it tolerance now? Intolerance. Yeah. You are newly married. In your family, the paste is from the rep. In my family, is anyway. And I cannot tolerate this. We can't stay together. So in such a situation, wife-husband relationship, parent-children relationship, student-lecturer relationship, how will you avoid your lecturers because you cannot tolerate it? So the answer is yes, then no. If it's just on platonic relationship, even in the office, you can't be an island. And instead of avoiding, you should manage the person. Manage the person.
My name is ADEBOWALE, the latest friend one mass communication, which makes me the chairman and coordinator for town hall events. It's an annual town hall event being hosted by Gen 1 students, mass comm department. Actually, I feel very accomplished being the coordinator for this year's event, and I want to give God glory and kudos to our regional director, Mr. Aribabu. He has been there with us all the way, and also our lecturer, Mr. Moshood Samotu. He has been there to guide us to have a practical class also. This is the end of it, and we are so grateful. Thank you very much.
I'm ADEYANJU, the Deputy HOC, HND1 Mass Communication, and the Vice Chairman, the Organizing Committee for the Town Hall meeting that we held just now. It was very, very challenging. Putting things together was very fun. But to God be the glory, we were able to achieve what we wanted to achieve. And a great appreciation goes to our guidance, because if not for them, we won't be able to put together things. We won't be able to put together things, but at the end of it, we're able to achieve success. And to my honorable HOC, he has been the backbone of the whole thing. If not for him, me, I'm always doing this off and on the store, but we give God the glory. At the end of it all, we were able to achieve what we want to achieve.
My name is Juliet, a student of mass communication at HND1. I'm an event planner. I take care of this event. I'm the decorator. I take care of entertainment and every other thing. I thank God that at the end of the day, we were able to meet up and success with us.
Daddy,